Composing with chance too. When chance is at work and we remain in the role of observer, a great deal happens biologically. Researchers speak of alpha waves when observing campfires, and indeed, ocean waves also have a meditative quality. Of course, it all depends on the state of mind of the individual observer. Anyone who has had truly bad experiences with water or fire probably sees things somewhat differently. So it's something we bring with us. I call this perceptual predisposition. With atonal music or abstract painting, we know the unexpectedly strong reactions that have been and are observed in the audience. It's not what we're used to, and such irritation isn't always welcome. Can we therefore speak of a language of chance that we first have to learn? The temporal structure in which we live constantly seeks order and structure, and we cannot cope unscathed with the chaos that permanently surrounds us. So, there is a release valve, a protective mechanism. A limit to our perceptual capacity and, of course, lastly, besides predisposition and readiness, motivation. If we don't recognize a meaningful idea in all of this, then all our efforts are wasted. And that's a good thing. Not everyone wants to learn Chinese or Spanish. But let's assume the ideal case. What does the ideal listener even look like? What prior knowledge is needed, so to speak? We should already be familiar with the concept of time. That music is formulated and organized in fragmented temporal structures during composition, and that pitch and duration are modulated. It shouldn't be any more abstract than that, and any form of psychoacoustics or neurological observation of perception in MRI scans is secondary. What happens within us when listening to and making music has been, and continues to be, intensively studied. To put it very simply, anyone who makes music with chance is always in a dual role. But this isn't about playing a randomly generated composition. We want to use everything in active interaction. The status quo is hardly fixed, and we know very little at the beginning. So it's good to know something about the tools we bring to our chance concerts, CC. There are certainly a wide variety of concepts, from devices that generate modulatable sounds in real time to sound collections and filters, tempo and distortion modulation. Whether we use traditional orchestras or electronic computer technology is already a decision that changes and reflects our relationship to chance. If we see chance only as a source of ideas, we're making a mistake. It's what happens in between. As I said, we use all of this in interaction. What effect does what's happening right now have on me? What have I set in motion? How should I deal with it now? All these questions should be asked before a ZK, Zweckverband für das Zeitgeschichte, Specialist Music History, session. It's also important to define one's own boundaries. Do I just want to become a rule pusher like Karlheinz Stockhausen, who faded all the tape-based sound resources in and out live in contrast to the live percussion? Or do I want to engage in a question and answer game, with changing roles, like in classical improvisation? A popular approach is also reduction, often used in so-called ambient music, where it's essentially just about mood modulation and managing dystopian soundscapes, like slow-motion chaos 8 octaves deep. I don't believe any of these examples will lead to a truly independent position in the long run. But this list is essential because it makes one thing clear. We need prior knowledge, listening experience, and we should find out how experimental musicians work and have worked in the past. It's obvious that we don't want to reinvent the wheel.